Now they're calling wind calm to just a little bit. Yeah, there's almost no wind today. All right, here we go on the takeoff. All right, airspeed's alive. Power's coming up. There's about 60 knots and rotate. We're going to keep the climb here nice and shallow for maximum cooling. We're right about 12 on the gauge here. It's bouncing a little bit, but we're at about 12, which looks good. Accelerate through 90 knots, going for 100. Number one's up to 445. 3 just peaked at 450. Now we're still at about 11 and a half. Gonna make a left turn out here. All right, now we're racing up into the 470s here, right about where we were before. I've richened it up to about 10. And it's still climbing. I'm gonna go just a hair richer still. And it's still climbing. We're still coming up to 180 degrees, and I got it set for 10. In fact, there, that's all the way rich. Yeah, and it started to run rough a little bit, so I'm going to throttle back. We're going to cut this one short yet again here. And Tower 526 Tango, we're still running a little bit warm here, so we just like to enter a left downwind, come back around and land on 28 again.
RV26 Tango, runway 28, clear to land.
Clear to land 28, 526 Tango. All right, we had her dialed in there for 10, and it was still, I think the cylinders peaked out at about 480, which is still way too much. So we're coming back on the power. Set up on about a midfield downwind here, so we're about 10 inches. That'll set us up. We're about 90 knots. Let's get the nose down just a little bit here and start heading downhill. And now the temperatures are coming down pretty well. 1 and 3 are back down around 410 and descending. All right, I'm so rich right now. As I throttle back, it starts to run a little bit rough. As I lean it back to kind of where we were before for that 12 setting, it smooths right out. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for the duration here. And we're going to turn a left base. I'm going to come back on the power just a little bit more. So 10 degrees of flaps.
Caution, obstacle.
Obstacle, yeah, he's way ahead of us. We're not worried about him. Just a touch more power here. A little bit of trim. All right, about 85 knots is good here around the pattern. Temperatures are all coming back down. Oil temperature peaked here at 231. I wasn't paying it a lot of attention as we were going around the pattern.
500.
500 feet, we're turning final. Go another 10 degrees of flaps. I think this power setting will work out well. Trim some off. Another 10 degrees of flaps, right over white on the Vasi. And we'll go full flaps, about 75 knots. I got about 8,000 feet of runway, so we got more than plenty. There's 70 knots, we'll just hold that all the way down. Now, getting a little slow, 65. Just a little touch of power. All right, got the runway made, wiping the power off, 65 over the fence. And Tower 526 Tango's going back to the Southwest GA hangars.
Tower 526 Tango, contact ground point 6.
Ground point 6, thank you. And ground RV 526 Tango, just off 28 on Bravo, going to the Southwest GA hangars.
RV 526 Tango, Waukesha ground, taxi to parking via Bravo.
Parking via Bravo for 526 Tango. All right, canopy open, that helps a tremendous amount. Well, that was mysterious. We had that thing enriched about as much as we could get it, and it was still taken off for the moon. Our initial setting was about 12, which was the recommended setting by the manufacturer, and yet it was still getting as warm as it did the day before when we tried this again. I know, Jeff, you had also mentioned that you had retarded the power or the ignition advance on this to, I believe, either 24 or 26, which should have had an impact but didn't. So we'll troubleshoot it a bit more once we get her shut down.